Welcome and thank you for joining today for the Pylot tour. So as we can see that this tool is used for load and performance testing of the web applications. First of all, we should know what exactly is load testing. So load testing is done on any website to make sure the behavior of the application when it's under a specific expected load. Now, why do we do load testing? The primary objective of load testing is to define the maximum amount of work a system can handle without significant performance degradation. It also determines the behavior of a system under normal and peak conditions. It is a non-functional type of a testing which determines behavior of the system. As we move further, we should know what is performance testing. So performance testing is performed to ascertain how the components of the system are performing given a particular situation, where resource usage, scalability and reliability of the product should be tested whenever we are doing performance testing. Why do we do performance testing? The primary goal of performance testing includes establishing the benchmark behavior of the system. As we know, there are a number of industry-defined benchmarks which should be met during performance testing. Also, accuracy and close monitoring of the performance and results of the test is the primary characteristic while performing performance testing. Both these tests are done on a website and they can be done through a tool called Pylot. So why do we use Pylot now? Pylot is a free open source tool for testing the performance and scalability of the web services. It runs HTTP load tests which are useful for capacity planning, benchmarking, analysis, and system tuning. It also generates various types of concurrent load requests. As we move further, we will talk about the features of the Pylot. There are a diverse number of features that Pylot supports, and some of them are mentioned here, like HTTP and HTTP support, multi-threaded load generator, cross-platform, generating reports, cross timers, GUI mode, and real-time stats. So this way, load and performance testing allows us to know how the application will behave under test and whenever it is under load when used by many users. This way you know when and how you can prevent the system downtime and availability problems. So since now you guys know a little about Pylot and its features, I would like to go into more details about how it works. So starting with the installation, if we go to www.pylot.org, we have to go to downloads and download the latest version of Pylot. You can unzip it at any location. Then you look for Python version 2.7. and then you have to install the same for getting this tool up and running. You also need WX Python, and this package is necessary for GUI. You have to install two more things. You can install NumPy. This package is necessary for reports and graph generations, and you can also install matplotlib. This package is optional, it's used for generating your graphs. So now if we go to the extracted folder in the drive that you have already installed, the main file of this program is run.py, which contains all the source code of Pylot. So if you want to see the source code, you can just open it with Notepad and you can see the file. You can also have a look at various arguments which are given at the starting that can be used for preparing various test cases in Pylot. Now if we go back to the folder and see at the XML file which Pylot uses, from which it extracts all the data and performs actual tests, you can put the URL here of the website that you want to test. So for example, if you want to test the website of any airlines, for example British Airways, you can just add the URL of that website in the link in the place here, and then you can save the XML file. Now just open the command prompt and just go to the location where you have extracted your Pylot file so that you are in the same folder, and now write the command python space run.py space -g. Now this will open Pylot's window. Now you have to set up the 4 controls on the user interface. This is called defining a workload, and where you can create a steady state or increase the load state. So the agents are the number of agents or the virtual users that run the website. Ramp up is the time span over which the agents are started. They will be evenly distributed throughout this time span. Interval is the interval at which the user sends requests. The requests from which user agent are paged at even intervals, and duration is the time span of the test. So if you set up the controls where you put agents as 10 and interval as 5 and then ramp up as 2 and the duration in 6 seconds as 60, and you just run the test. Just give the test name as British Airways, for example. You can also log the messages by checking in the checkbox and then just run the test case, and then we will just wait till we get all the results. So now here it's generating all the results where it's taking time, and we can see in the summary that it's giving us the runtime, the agents, how many requests are getting through, errors if any generated, what is the average response time, what is the average throughput, what is the current throughput. So we will just wait for all the agents to generate their requests. The status is currently running, so we are just waiting for it to get over. Right now we have got no errors at all. So as we wait for 60 seconds to get over, we will therefore get the result of our website. So now you can see the status is stopped, and if you see the summary, the runtime is 1 minute, the agents are 10. That means that 10 agents are there to complete the testing, and they have taken time as 1 minute, which is the runtime, and these 10 agents have generated 11,120 requests, and there were no errors. The average response time is 0.529, and the average throughput is 18.667, and the current throughput is 4.667. So throughput is the rate at which the requests can be processed. So now if we go back to the folder and look for the results file, we can go to the British Airways result file, and we can see that we got 10 log files from 1 to 10 of our respective agents. You can open the files and see in the notepad all the information that it contains. If we go to the results file, which has an HTML extension, and you see it shows the performance results, where it tells you when the report was generated, what was the start time and the finish time. It gives you a workload model. These are all the values that we entered when we started testing. and it gives you a result summary which tells you about the request, the errors, all the data that was received, what were the response times and the throughput times. Then if we go back to the folder and look for the agent stats file, it is an Excel file which tells you that which number of agents sent the request at what time. This is the actual time, followed by the response time, and it also tells you about the status codes. So here it shows a status code of 200. That means that the status of the test case is passed. The test case will also be pass or fail based on the HTTP status codes that it receives. So if it's less than 400, that means it's a pass status. So that's all for today. Thank you for taking time to attend this tutorial.